Okay, awesome. So basically, to start off, just what is self-regulation and why is it important to us?
Okay, so self-regulation, there's probably about 300 definitions of self-regulation. The way I like to describe it is more about how we cope with stressors internally, and then the amount of energy it requires to cope with those stressors and then recover from it. So I usually give examples with that because people kind of look at my face and go, "What did that just mean?" And so just sitting right now and trying to pay attention. So there's lots going on for you in your body right now because number one, you're really trying to listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it also is taking your body energy to sit and balance and try and make sure that you're not using your energy trying to sit up. And I notice you've got your elbow on the
I'm
table.
like leaning already.
So that helps to release some of the energy for you. So it's all about how we are trying to cope with many of the stressors around us. So there's sometimes fans, lights, other areas in the environment that affect our ability to stay focused.
That's so cool.
So yeah, it's learning about what bothers us and how we can learn to manage it.
Okay, and then so specifically for children, why is it important for kids to learn that as like a young age?
Well, the self-awareness is powerful for kids. Now, many children at a young age don't always know, and it often is the adult that becomes what we call the co-regulator, or they become the external brain for the child. And
like telling them what to do and everything like that?
Well, yeah, and just helping support them. So sometimes it becomes, you'll see that a child has become, they're reacting to something, they become fidgety, they become irritable, and so it becomes the responsibility of the adult in the room to try and figure out, I wonder what's going on for them. Could it be the lights? Could it be some noises around them? Are they too hot, too cold, hungry? Do they need to go to the washroom? So many things that we need to think of that the child may not necessarily be aware of themselves.
Okay. And then I guess just moving on to like the whole calm curriculum side of it, how did you come up with the idea for it? Like where did you see the need for it?
So this was because we run an early intervention program here through Supported Child Development, and we were seeing lots of children being kicked out of preschool, lots of children with social and emotional issues, so we knew that that was a competency area that we wanted to build on. And so a colleague named Jody Elliott and myself got together, and we had read Stuart Shanker's book, Calm, Alert, and Learning in the classroom, and from there we went, this could probably easily be adapted for younger children. And so I started doing my master's, and in my master's I started figuring out that there was a lot more to this than I was anticipating, and how it could be done. And so our biggest thing was we wanted to give children the skills in social emotional development, and we wanted to give adults the understanding of what self-regulation looked like and what type of skills children can learn at that age.
Okay. And then, so how did you use, like, the calm curriculum? How does it work with the kids? Like, how do they use the curriculum to, like, help them understand it?
So it's a puppet that actually facilitates it. His name is Melvin the monkey, and he's got a sidekick named Tucker the turtle, and so they teach them different skills. So the children learn how to do monkey breath, and that's been quite successful. You'll hear about children on the playground telling their peers to take monkey breaths. It helps them with impulse control, so that there's some cognitive behavioral techniques. Stop, think, and plan is a Tucker turtle technique that he teaches through just stopping, taking breaths, giving yourself a hug, and then coming up with a solution kind of idea. But it's all done through play and storytelling, and children learn 8 different emotions throughout the program. One big one is jealousy. It's one that adults have a hard time with, and we often tell children it's the ugly green monster and they shouldn't feel it, but really they do, and so do we. So why do we make them feel guilty for it? It's better for them to have a better understanding of what it actually is.
So why did you target that specific age group? It's kindergartners, isn't it? Is it kindergartners?
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be for childcare providers. Originally, it was going to be a prevention program. We were going to take it out. We were going to give kids the skills they needed before they went into kindergarten, and the caregivers in their lives. It was the school district that became very interested in it, and now we're finding it's in many of our K and 1 classes.
Okay, so then is that just specifically that like age range, pardon me, is it like really critical to learn these skills then, like as they grow up, or would it be okay to leave them and learn it a little bit later in life, or like how does that work?
The later that children learn them and adults understand them, the harder it gets. So
Yeah.
You definitely you'd want to start at birth in terms of that relationship building and having that serve and return interaction with your child. So the child asks for something, the caregiver responds to their needs to happen at a very young age. And so when it doesn't happen, it just becomes more difficult to repair that.
Okay, and so just because this is like targeted towards kind of high schoolers' perspective, how is self-regulation and using the techniques from the calm curriculum and everything, how's that like really important to high schoolers? I know that like taking a step back and like looking at the situation, everything is super important, especially when you're kind of going through like stages in high school because it's super big transition. But is there any like critical parts of self-regulation that can really be applied to high schoolers?
I think
you can think of
many high schoolers, like anybody else, experiences stress.
Yeah.
And anybody who experiences stress could understand self-regulation a lot better. So it's understanding what are the stressors that do affect you, because everybody's different. Somebody might not like a smell. Somebody may not like a certain sound. You know, you might have a student next to you that keeps tapping their feet. That's really irritating or whatever. It's just understanding and having that self-awareness and what to do when you're feeling like that. So it's just really, I think when people are more aware of what stresses them out, they're more capable of recovering and dealing with it. So it's, and especially students and the amount of stress they're experiencing, just to be able to know that, okay, my thoughts are right now in my stress response system. If I change them right now, I can actually have a better response if I deal with it in my stressors, in the better part of my brain.
Okay, and so another question I got from someone in the class, does it get a lot easier as you get older, or like, I guess as you learn things they get easier, but does, I don't know, managing your emotions get a lot easier as you get older, or is it still the same?
Well, I think that's a really great question, because I think often you'll see people and you're like, wow, okay, you really didn't learn the strategies to deal with stress or cope with stress. And so, or you just know someone's really stressed out, and so and they don't have the proper regulation techniques to deal with it. So does it get harder? You'll definitely see people that are more stressed out, and definitely that they're the ones that are really aggressive and don't know how to manage a lot of their emotions, because they've just never learned how.
So super dependent on the person then, I guess, and their experiences. And then last question, it says just how can everyone practice self-regulation? So is there something that like people can do, like no matter the age, just to like help them cope with everything?
Right. Well, and I think this is mindfulness is supposed to be one of the best strategies in terms of, but mindfulness requires for you to be right in the moment, being in the present moment, and that's not easy for people to do. So definitely, I think a lot of us, when we're stressed, we think about the past, we think about the future,
and not so much in the moment.
Not so much in the moment. So being in that moment so that your mind stops racing and you've just got time to be and enjoy those opportunities to enjoy, or to learn to breathe through those opportunities that are a little bit harder.
Right. I think that's everything. That's all I have. Thank you